On September 11th, a man named Lou Sandoval will be attempting to hit a heavy bag for over 55 hours for a world record. Why is this man doing this? There is a story behind his madness. Straight out of Jersey welcomes Lou Sandoval.
Media in the building. NJ Roots, heavy bass feeling. Let's go.
What's up, guys? I am Joe Zapata. We are back here straight out of Jersey. And as you guys know, about a month ago, we had Lou Sandoval was on, and he actually went for the world record of hitting a heavy bag for over 55 hours. Well, he's back because he did it. He completed that task, and he's going to come and talk about what he went through to actually do this. And I welcome to the show, Lou Sandoval. What's up, Lou?
Joe, good to see you again, man.
Good to see you, man. Well, first of all, congratulations on doing the world record and beating those 55 hours. What was the actual time you finished that? Was it
60 hours? We wrapped it up at 60 hours.
All right, 60 hours. Congratulations. So let's go back to that day and see everything you prepped and see how you're feeling. So first of all, how is your health right now after everything you went through?
There's a couple of places on my hands, little spots on my hands that the feeling hasn't returned 100%.
Okay.
The body is all in all okay, but it's taken a minute for the mind, for the neurology to kind of find the rhythm again. During the 60 hours, time was splintered, right?
Okay.
I was standing in one place. I know this for a fact that I was in one place for 60 hours, but it feels like I was in 7 different locations.
Really?
Through it.
Wow.
Because sun would come in and people would come in, and you're just not registering or perceiving normally.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the hallucinations would linger.
Wow, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, it was.
I am sure it was. Now, so when you started off, you seemed that first couple hours seemed fine. What was going through your mind as everything was happening?
Well, I think we spoke about this the first time we spoke, but this entire endeavor is all mind control.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. and it's, since it is literally a marathon, you got to pace yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I was completely successful at doing that because of the energy, the people coming into the room.
Yep.
It would affect me positively, and I'd start hitting probably a little harder than I should have. That ham and you just kind of subconsciously comes out. But it was the weather, man. The entire experience was very, very, very mythological and cinematic. It's like a graphic novel. Like the day we started, the Wednesday, September 10th, before we started it, the guys from New York arrived and they were setting up cameras, and Dennis Chavez from Santa Fe came down. The crew was there. We stepped outside and the entire sky was like blood orange.
Oh, wow.
Like a storm was literally coming in. They filmed it, and it was windy. It was like a storm. So the next day we start and we're going and just maintaining it, trying to manage everything. And there was this tremendous thunder bolt about hour 9 into it at night. And it really was like a bomb went off in the neighborhood because everything shook.
Mm-hmm.
And, I scream out, at the top of my lungs, that's St. Michael taking a sword and stabbing into the top of Church Rock. That's us. And they all go nuts. But we believed it. We got caught up in it.
Yep. The energy
and then
was
it
really
started
high.
to rain, like
really?
a rainstorm that, there's a few, people that have been in Gallup for 15 years that said, man, we haven't seen a rainstorm like that in a while. And I had a nephew who was driving in from LA.
Okay.
And it was about 4:00 in the morning, and he called in to his mom to give a report. And he says, yeah, I'm about 10 miles out, but it's crazy. I can see all this lightning going down around the Gallup area. And it's like coming down. And I said, well, but it got tougher a lot sooner than I thought it was going to get, Joe.
Really? Because I was getting updates from people and everything as it was going. But I did hear that you cramped up at one point. Is that true?
Yeah, like 8 hours into it, I left, the forearm started to cramp up. And I'm telling you, man, the entire endeavor, and I sort of knew that it would be this from the beginning. It
Hmm.
was like a community, team, family effort
Mm.
where everybody had a role. Like,
Okay.
I was at center stage, but there is a man, his name is Greg Kirk, and he's a physical therapist and a
Hmm.
pro. And he was very much like, remember Jacob's Ladder?
Yeah, 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 sure.
You remember the
Mhm.
Danny Aiello character who was a
Yeah, sure.
chiropractor who was the guardian angel?
Hmm.
That was Greg Kirk, man.
Wow.
He would just show up when I'm slipping literally into darkness. I can feel the depression or the oppression on the brain seeping into the body, and the wheel's still going, but I haven't caught up.
Mm.
And there was a couple of moments, like it was maybe hour 22, and my
Okay.
sister was sitting there looking at me, saying, "Lou, are you all right?" And my
Wow.
brother, my sister Toki, who prayed, she
I
was
saw it.
always
Yeah.
there. My
Hmm.
brother, who was the quarterback of the whole thing, was looking at me, and I could sort of see the concern. And fortunately, the 5-minute break came up, and I sat down and just took a quick nap.
Hmm.
And I got up, and that guy Dennis Chavis that I mentioned to you, he knows me well, and he started to speak to my soul. And I just got real emotional and got mad and just started hitting as hard as I
Wow.
can, as hard as I could. And it
Wow.
pulled me out energetically. But my body was starting to feel it, and I'm going down a little bit, and the sun's coming through. I remember that. And I feel these hands on me just immediately going to work. And I turn up, and there's Greg Kirk. And he showed up like 3 or 4 times, man, because he's worked. He was driving to Albuquerque, which is 120 miles away from Gallup. His
Hmm.
daughter was in a tournament, and he would drive back to check on me.
Wow. Were you allowed to take like breaks because obviously cramping is usually dehydration, and were you allowed to take water breaks in between, or how did that work?
No, well, you were allowed to take breaks. After an hour, you were allowed one break for
Okay.
5 minutes. If
Okay.
you chose to, you could bank up those 5 minutes.
Okay.
So the first 6 hours, I banked it up because
Mm.
I
Okay.
knew I might know it. I might
Mhm.
need it at some point. But no, I was getting hydrated. There was people around me. There was my cousin Debbie from Whittier from California who came
Yep.
in. My brother, there was people there that was making sure that I was getting hydrated. And man, if I never see another banana again with peanut butter on it for the rest of my life, I won't feel cheated. They kept sticking it in my mouth like a bonobo, for carbs, and I want it
Mhm.
no more. Eat it. Shut up and
Mhm.
eat it.
Mm. I think the pastor was there, or priest was there, right? Correct. I
Yeah,
saw
at the
him.
very, the intention, Joe, at the very beginning was to create an environment of holiness,
Hmm.
because this was intended as an endurance novena,
Okay.
as a prayer, as a sacrifice,
Okay.
of the body for the children of the area.
Hmm.
And the area has been, around Gallup, has been dealing with the oppressions of addiction and depression and mental illness and covetousness, just some real dark qualities. And
Mm.
we intended this as a healing. Hopefully, you don't know, but we flooded the room with as much holiness as we could. Like, there was candles everywhere. I had some of my statues were there. Periodically, the Father Josh came in,
Yeah.
and he
Hmm.
blessed me, and then nuns would come in, and then there was various spiritualities that would pop in, but it was predominantly a Catholic perspective, or not perspective, but a prism.
Okay. At any time, did you feel like you needed this? You were gonna quit? Did you see at any time you're gonna quit?
I got a little concerned
Okay.
during that time that I mentioned at hour 21, because it was a new area,
Yeah.
and I think it's because I have subjected my brain to 5 different extended stints with sleep deprivation in a 10-month span.
Hmm.
You know, I've had 6 concussions in my life, 4 of which I went unconscious. two of which I had within 3 weeks of each other in '84.
Wow, how did that happen?
Yeah, yeah, and I never gave any of this thought until I talked to a neurologist from UNM out of Albuquerque, and I told her the story, and she's go, "My God, that's superhuman." And I said, "I don't know what it is, but
Wow.
I could feel it." And I'm 60 years old too,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's I didn't want to accept that fact through the
hmm
endeavor, but it is a fact,
hmm
and it just all hit at one time. And there was some doubt there. I was, oh my God. But then I look at my sister's eyes and I look at my brother's face, and there's that thing in you that I'll die before I stop.
hmm Wow.
But
And
that
this is
also was a
definitely,
consideration.
yeah, this is definitely that Rocky never give up inside of you, because that was really important, as you said. Never give up.
Well, yeah, that was a story that spoke to me. But again, I'll always hark back that really chose to put myself through this to
hmm
really have a closer relationship with Jesus himself, to
hmm
understand physically. And by no means, Joe, am I comparing what I did to what he did,
hmm
any of that superhuman feat that he pulled
hmm
off. But it is sort of Rocky-esque in the respect that you want to see, if you think there's a quality of a champion in you,
hmm
and most of us won't even harbor that thought because it's so egoic in the first place, right?
hmm
But if you quietly think there is, and if you're presented with an opportunity to test and to challenge and try that and see if it's real in you or if it's all just you
hmm
telling yourself what you need to hear to get through the day.
hmm
When I went the first 24 hours, that's when I knew I could take it seriously.
hmm
And
Wow.
you find out in the extremity of experiences like this, and I can't recommend enough to anyone who is going through a depression or is battling addiction. The salvation is in discipline and the extremity of your discipline.
Mm.
Like Goggins always say, you almost got to go overboard with it to
Yep.
change the habit and the default.
hmm
It takes about 90 days at least to get it
hmm
moving in that direction. But man, I can't, I wish every human would have an opportunity to put themselves through the furnace like I chose to do it, because when you come out on the other end with this new understanding of what you are and maybe what you're not, is you get into the furnace and it ignites you or it incinerates you.
hmm
And when
Yeah.
I come out at the other end, there was this world of love around me, but everybody will go home and maybe they'll think about it. Maybe in 3 weeks, probably not. But my world has been dramatically changed. My paradigm, how I relate with almost every noun in my existence has been changed because now I know what I am and what I'm not for real.
hmm Yeah. Um, that, you had a lot of energy around you. But people obviously went home and you kept doing what you had to do. Were you ever by yourself at any point?
Never,
Never by
never,
yourself.
ever,
Okay.
ever, ever, ever was I left alone.
That's
There
good.
was my brother and sister who were there, and everybody kind of rotated.
Yes.
Um, my dear friend Archie Baca, who was the owner, he's a successful businessman, great, really good guy. Um, he owned the building that we had the event in, and he's a close friend of mine, almost like he's very much like Gazzo was to Rocky.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Who
yeah.
knows? Maybe look, you got some luck this time, huh? But he was there, man, till like 3 in the morning.
Mhm.
Just his presence, his spirit. He's a warrior too. But yeah, I was never left alone.
That's great. That last hour, that last hour, um, what's going through you? I mean,
Well,
obviously.
let me back that up a little bit
Sure.
and tell you about when we were approaching the world record, the
Yep.
55 hours and 15
Mhm.
minutes. It was like an hour or 2 hours away. And I remember the crew coming in, the team coming in, and they said, all right, it looks like you're going to make it. You're going to break the record. Now, do you want to go 56 hours? Do you want to go 56 hours and 30 minutes? You want to go 57 hours? What do you want to do? And I said, I trained for 60 hours. I'm 60 years old. So, we might as well let's just go the distance with that. Are you
Okay.
sure? Are you sure? And I go, no, but I ain't coming back here. Let's just do it. Let's do it. So I broke the world record, and like everybody's, the first applause, the first
Yeah.
excitement. But then about a half hour after that, there was
Mhm.
new voices, the voices of dissent saying, you don't have to go anymore. You're done. You got it done.
Mhm.
It's fine. Stop, man. You got it. You got it. Yeah. And those voices, those distractions, they're very much like the zombies were in Night of the Living Dead. They come to the door and you see hands coming in. They're
Mhm.
at the window. They're at the front of the house. They're in front of the temple. And if one of them gets in, good night.
Wow.
So the training is all about fortifying your house, fortifying the
Yeah.
temple,
Yeah, of course.
because if one gets in, man, if
Mhm.
one gets in, and again, I could feel everything kind of weighing down in those last, but more people started to come in. There was an art crawl downtown,
Mhm.
coincidentally enough, and kids were coming in, and but then we got to that last 15 minutes,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you saw it.
I was getting, Joe was telling me what was going on. Joseph
Good old
was
Joey
telling me what,
Molinaro. God
yeah,
bless Joey Molinaro.
yes, he was
Um,
telling me what was going on.
he's a wonderful guy. But that last 15, see, it came 15 minutes, and there was a man who nobody knew who was there, and he started to pray for me while I was taking my last break.
Mhm.
And I got up and I started to hit, and it was the last 10 minutes, right? And he was praying out loud, and I think he was trying to fire me up,
Mhm.
but I recognized it, and I said, this guy's kind of appealing to my anger and my ego. Is this guy he's trying to tire me out? So I slowed down, and my brother and my buddy Mark DePauli, he's going to be mayor of the town here. I've known him since I was 7. They both looked at me and they were both like, so I just pulled it back, and I listened to my other friend Mark Hall, who's just saying, rhythm, Lou, rhythm and power,
Mhm.
rhythm. And I completely turned out the voice that was going to the anger and the ego. But then we get to the last minute, and someone screams 1 minute, and the people start to go. It starts to get real cinematic.
Yeah, of course.
Real theatrical. And I'm telling you, Joe, I probably took 5 years of my life after that last 30 seconds, man. And I
Wow.
look at the tape, and I wasn't hitting that hard, but man, I felt like I was.
Now, was it harder though to take, because when you're going, then you take a break. Isn't it hard to kind of restart up again,
It
especially that one?
sucked.
I'm
It
sure.
was. It sucked at a whole new. As much as I thought it was gonna suck, it sucked 4 times as bad. As great as I thought it was gonna be, it was 10
Mhm.
times better. But I'd be sitting there, I'd just collapse. You know, hour 44 and 5 minutes, and I'd get pissed off. But Joe, I told my brother this. I said, "Listen, man, if I get through this, and I was a jerk through the whole thing." If I were, just turned on people, I got to hold the grace. If I don't hold grace to this, it's not worth anything. If I start to lose grace, slap me. Just
Mhm.
keep me in. And it was a challenge, man, because you don't want to be touched. You don't want to be bothered. You sit down. It's like you just sat down for 30 seconds and you feel a hand on you. Louis, 30 seconds. Time to go. And everything just to get up and walk to the bag.
Mhm.
And, but you expect it.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
I know everyone is proud of you. I mean, Teddy Atlas, obviously a friend of mine. He hasn't had a video for you. He's actually going to touch base with you actually later. And I know Stallone's camp knew about this through the people I know. So they all knew about it. So everyone's proud of you, what you did. What is next for Lou Sandoval?
Well, first of all, it's very cool that Teddy Atlas knows about this, and if Stallone knows about his camp, if they hear about it, that'd be like cherry on the sundae and stuff. But the entire Sunday is everybody that meant something to me, except my nephews and a
Hmm.
couple of guys. Everybody was in that room with
Hmm.
me, and that'll. But like I mentioned to you, everything has changed from a paradigm standpoint.
Hmm.
You sort of know that whatever I choose to put it all in, I can probably go after it.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think the wisest thing right now, and a lot of this is in prayer too, because every plan I ever made got botched up. And
Hmm.
if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. So I'm sort of just trying to stay active and productive while waiting from my orders from above.
Hmm.
But there's a screenplay I have to write.
Okay.
There is an illustrated novel I want to do,
Hmm.
and there's sort of like a how-to book, how to approach a spiritual war slash biography called The Will and the Way that I'd like to get done. But there's also possibly a sculpture that I might do for the city of Gallup of the Archangel Michael. May end up being 18 feet. I don't know, Joe. I don't know, man. I'm kind of splintered right now.
Hmm. Yeah, we should do
It'll
something
come to
like
me
a
though.
nice portrait of yourself or a nice sculpture of yourself doing that, hitting that bag. I think that would be really
Well,
nice.
you're on to something because I saw a photograph the other day of me hitting the bag where it was more of a silhouette.
Hmm.
And I think it'd be kind of interesting to do a sculpture of the guy hitting the bag, but I do what the hallucinations, what was coming out of the bag.
Oh wow.
The darkness that was coming out of the bag, the faces, the malevolence, the demons, imply that coming out so you can see the guy fighting his own demons.
Hmm.
But then we'd fit it in a way where when it's lit, it's behind the guy and the shadows. And I think there is a sculpture in that.
Wow. Did
I
you have
think
a
there's a
lot of
lot of
hallucinations?
potentials for creativity out of the story.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I really think so. Did you have a lot of hallucinations when you were hitting that bag?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. It was, I think I told you this the first time, but I compare it to that final scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark when they opened the Ark
Mm,
and
okay.
those transparent visions of darkness were coming towards you. They started out beautiful, but they get closer. But the difference between what I was seeing and what was in Raider of the Lost Ark is I knew those faces. They were it was I think it was trauma, man, coming up from
Mhm,
the subconscious. Because there was I had genuine fear of what I was hallucinating against.
mhm.
It was people, it was feelings, it was like an attack on the senses.
Wow.
And there was times through it when you would just my consciousness would just drop into a place of absolute still and silence where there was no falseness in there.
Mhm,
Like I'd never experienced anything like it before. And I talked to a friend of mine, Jeff Kober, who's a meditator, a Vedic meditator, like a guru. And I was sharing this with him, and he said, "My God, Lou, that sounds like it might have been the death of the ego self."
wow,
And he goes, you're supposed to you meditate for that for
wow.
decades, or you can stay up for 44 hours punching and get there real quick. But I'm telling you, Joe, when that experience there in that truth, I was lucid enough to thinking, man, they say the kingdom is within. Maybe this is it. Maybe this stillness, maybe
Yeah,
this silence, and whatever this is, I want to grab some of it and take it back with me when I get back into the war, into the
wow.
meat grinder up there.
Mhm. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Has your strength with your faith got stronger after this
Well, it's no longer a faith. It's not faith anymore. It's trust.
trust?
Yeah,
Okay.
trust is developed through a personal time-tested relationship, right?
Mm,
Your
yep.
friends, your whoever is closest to you, it took time and you weather the storms and you recognize that it's a real relationship and you trust it. So I don't faith that I think implies a little bit of a question mark,
Mm-hmm.
and my question marks, I got into that area that I was telling you about, that stillness, and through in between the hallucinations, it's like a dream sequence, man, where for milliseconds I'm experiencing a love where it's like heaven, and
Mm-hmm.
then in another 4 minutes I'm experiencing terror, fear at the other side. So there's these different experiences of heaven and hell till you're going through it. And I bet you runners have it. I bet you guys who are in solitude in prison experience it,
Mm.
when it's just you and your mind
Yeah, I bet.
alone.
What did you do afterwards? After you beat the record, did you go out to family? Did you eat? What
I
did you do?
collapsed.
That's
I
what you do.
took my, I was, I didn't smell very good, man. And there was a few guys around me that reminded me of, they wanted to burn what I was wearing.
Mm,
But we went to my friend's Derek Chavis's house. Known him since we were kids.
okay.
Beautiful soul. Helped out a lot. But we got there and I got into the couch and we're gonna watch the Canelo fight because it was
Oh
on.
yeah, yeah, Canelo,
I
yeah.
I was all excited. I didn't make it past them going into the ring, and I slept for 2 days.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's impressive. Wow, that's a long time. Did you get checked out though with medical and everything first before you?
No.
n- You did not. You didn't go get checked out. No,
No. No, man. No, I did not. I'd like to lie to you and say I had been checked out already in
prior.
Brooklyn, went through the
Yeah.
medical, and I just said to myself, I got something I don't want to know about it till afterwards.
Wow. Well, Lou, like I said, that's incredible. Everyone is proud of you.
Thank you,
Are you
Joe.
going to be coming up this way anytime soon to New York?
I'm aiming at it, man.
All right. Well,
I should say, I should tell you, I've watched some of your episodes and it's an interesting podcast, particularly about the comics and the movies.
yeah, yeah. We're actually working on something, more documentaries, and we're actually going to do a short film. We're trying to do actually, because the one screenwriter Rob is actually a screenwriter and does some stuff, trying to get some stuff out there with Netflix and stuff. But we're going to do something, and we're just looking for the funding to make sure it's all there. But
Yeah, yeah, I think you know this, but I'm a lifetime member of the Actors Studio,
oh,
and
you're
that's
an
the
actor.
only institution I ever wanted to be a part of.
Okay,
And you being a back east guy, you know what the Actors Studio is. A lot of people
of course.
don't,
Hmm.
but there's, I talk to 20-year-olds who never heard of Marlon Brando.
Jesus.
So yeah, it's real. But the reason I bring it up is if there's two things I could talk about all day long. Acting
Hmm.
through the Actors Studio, method acting, the different, just acting and through truth,
Hmm.
and the Dallas Cowboys.
Uh,
Yeah, and that is, we'll save that for another time, that conversation,
hey, you're
because
better
that's
than the Jets, and I'm a Jets fan, so you're better than us.
dude, I don't, both of us need an exorcism in the franchise, I
Yeah,
think, though. It's beyond X's and O's after 30 years, man.
yeah, and then Mark Sanchez goes nuts. Did you hear about
Yeah,
that?
that's a bad story, man. You also know Mark Sanchez was a Cowboy for about that long too.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
he
For like
played for the Cowboys, and I just,
he
you
was
don't ever want to
talented.
hear that.
No,
Not
no.
for anyone, man. I mean, can you imagine? It's easy to joke and to judge, but you wake up and you
Hmm.
wake up in a hospital. He was drunk. He was in a blackout.
Hmm.
It sounds like he didn't know what's that, and he's living his worst nightmare times 50.
Hmm.
And you just hope the guy, because he seems like a good guy.
Yes, I've
He
met
did
him
a
once.
stupid. Yeah, yeah. How
I
was
met him
he?
once when he was with the Jets, and he was a nice guy. Can't say he was. He was a nice guy.
Yeah,
Really.
you get the feeling he was raised right, that he was a
Mhm.
good guy, but that damn alcohol. That
That'll kill
damn
you.
alcohol does not bring out. His last name is Sanchez too,
Hmm.
and I can speak from experience and observing experience. That dang alcohol with Latinos or indigenous people, or it's a poison, man.
Hmm. Yeah, it's really bad. It is really bad. Anything? Well, Lou, thank you again so much. We're gonna touch base again. Like I said, maybe you can come on the show with us, the movie show with us, and talk a little bit about some stuff.
I have like my friends talk to me about the useless information I have about film and actors. I can go back to 1933, 31, and Boris Karloff and James Whale, the director of Frankenstein, and also
Mhm.
I was a movie geek as a kid. So you ever need anybody to swing in and
I
give it,
definitely, definitely.
I'd be more than happy to help.
Well, yes, thank you. We're going to keep in touch and definitely we'll work something out because I have a couple of things in mind that we're doing that we're going to need some actors. So, and I know you have a little background in that.
A little bit, just a little bit.
So we're going to need some actors actually with us to fill out the cast that we're doing. But Lou, thank you so much. Congratulations. We will touch base shortly.
Joe,
All right,
thank
buddy?
you for having me, man. It's always great talking to you, and God bless you, man.
God bless, man.
All right, later.
Talk to you later.
Started from nothing. Jersey streets, we owned it. Jay-Z pumping iron. Bodybuilder Cody. Beans on the